Bounce back Wednesday. We had a 2-0 night last night. Memphis Grizzlies and the Pelicans get it done for us. A little bit of a break with Embiid being ruled out, so doubled up after taking Pelicans +3. Took them with some juice on the money line and had a couple of blowout winners to get the week back on track. Hopefully that can head us in the right direction heading into the weekend. We got some Thursday night football and a pretty big NBA slate going on today. We're going to get into it all. John, how we doing? Nice little night last night.
Little, yeah. Well, but it's a little stepping back in the right direction. After, like I said, November's been a brutal NBA month. It won't stay that way. I tell you, it won't stay that way. We got it started yesterday. But I do want to make a correction right off at the top. So we're talking about the in-season tournament yesterday, and I threw out a number out there with the Celtics mistakenly, and I can't express this point enough. As a pro, I cannot make mistakes, and we mistakenly thought all the playoff games were being held in Las Vegas, which they're not. The first round games are being held in the higher seeds arena. So Celtics are at the Pacers for the first game. So that obviously is not the same line as it would be if it was on a neutral court. The DraftKings actually posted that game 4.5, Celtics 4.5 at Indiana. There's a game we'll look at more. But just off the top of my head, just remember the Pacers went to Boston earlier this year and got obliterated. So maybe a little revenge spot for Indiana, but we'll still be looking at the lines and stuff. Remember, a couple of games leading up to the tournament, full schedules today, Friday, and Saturday, and then no games Sunday, and these tournament games will start Monday. But again, my apologies. First round games are held at the higher seed for this tournament, and then they'll move to Las Vegas for semifinals and finals. And again, as a pro, I cannot make those mistakes. That being said, we sent out 2 games yesterday, and and when you run bad, you run bad. So I said there's no way that the Suns won't be a play. I mean, look, anything could happen. Booker, KD could get hurt because KD came back last night, although it was awful. And sure enough, Booker turns the ankle. Got to see how bad that is. So when the bad breaks come, they just keep coming. Anyway, we'll talk more about the in-game, in-season tournaments Monday. Big card today, an NFL game. I want to get started on the right track again with NFL. After 11 straight winning weeks, week 12 was an out-and-out disaster. But this is a tough game, so maybe we'll lead off with the football game tonight, Ben.
Yeah, Thursday night football, guys. Seahawks at the Cowboys. Both these teams coming off Thanksgiving games. So you have the Seahawks who lost to the 49ers on Thursday. Absolutely blown out in that one. And then you have the Cowboys doing what they've done at home all season long. They put a beatdown on the Commanders, 45-10 there. Very weird game to wrap your head around. You have the Cowboys killing teams at home, absolutely killing teams at home, not just this season, but really now for 3 years straight. They've won 13 straight home games by an average of 19.6 points. All 5 this year have been by 20 or more. So blowouts left and right, but then look a little closer who they've beaten. And their best of these home wins was a Rams team that lost Stafford mid-game. You have a couple of the worst teams in the football that they've absolutely killed. The Jets, the Giants, the Patriots, and the Commanders here. So all under 500 teams. Take that trend with a grain of salt, especially with the look ahead. And it's a weird little thing to get you wrap your head around. So tough game all around. Lean a little bit to the over in this one. Lean ever so slightly to Seattle. I don't want to buck the trend of what Cowboys have been doing at home, but this will be the best team they have faced at home. Do we see a little bit of a regression to it, and especially with the look ahead? So Seattle or nothing, really don't want to go against that trend. We need double digits with the Seahawks. And as far as the total, could only look at the over despite the primetime trend, John.
Yeah, the primetime trend is just ridiculous. I just can't. I can't go under in this one. I think it may finally come to an end tonight. Not going to bet the over. Not enough room to bet the over. But just looking at Dallas, they lead the NFL in scoring. Seattle, you look at their last 4 weeks, and this is what you're looking at. You're looking at they give up 37 at Baltimore. Give up 26 to the Commanders at home. They hold the Rams down to 17. but still lose that game and then give up 31. So about 28 points per game over their last 4 weeks. And now they're going to go into the team who just blows it up at home. So as Ben was saying, Dallas has just been lights out, especially against the weaklings they've played at home. Don't want to consider Seattle one of the weaklings. They are our 500 team, and as we know, look, Dallas is 0-2 against teams that are 500 and better, but the two teams were the two other best teams in the NFC, 49ers and Eagles. A big show-me game for everybody tonight. Look, the look ahead, I would have bet Dallas in this spot early in the week. When this land was 7, it opened up. Just a tough spot. Who do they got coming in next week? The Philadelphia Eagles. That we talk about look-ahead spots. They go for football probably more so than the NBA games. You only have 17 games. So when they circle one of those games, that's a game that they're really focused on. So it might be a little tough spot. Made the line higher, but that look ahead, a tough spot for Dallas tonight. And again, the total seems high because it's under every game, but Dallas could score, high scoring team. Seattle's been giving the points up. I can't go under in this one.
And this, as far as Seahawks being a pretty solid team, they are second in the NFC wild card right now, currently behind the Cowboys. Win here would put them one behind Dallas. So they're right there with them record-wise. Obviously, they haven't beaten any of these good teams. So you can look at that one of two ways. I mean, Seattle, all their losses are respectable losses. Couple division losses to the Rams who own them, the 49ers, the Ravens, and the Bengals. So respectable losses across the board. But then again, if you look at all their wins, it's kind of the opposite. So you haven't had that big win yet. Is tonight the night they actually put up a competitive game. Lean Seattle, tough game all around. Can't break the Cowboys trend there, John.
Look, what I will say, they lost to respectable teams, but getting blown out at home week 1, right. 30-13 to the Rams, getting obliterated at Baltimore. Yep. So I don't want to call those respectful losses. And then the last loss, San Francisco, dominated them in the first half. Again, we talk about look ahead. San Fran had the look ahead. That's why we had a little bet on Seattle. San Fran had the look ahead to this week. That's their game against the Eagles. So 49ers dial it back a little bit, and Seattle comes back in the second half, just not enough to cover. So the games that Seattle's played up against better competition, they've been beat up. Look, again, Geno Smith, he hurts the elbow a couple of weeks ago. He wasn't right last Thursday night. Let's see what happens this Thursday. You also had the running back Walker. He did not play last Thursday. Going to be out again tonight. Just can't pull the trigger on the Seahawks. Like I said, would love to. A game over, a touchdown with Dallas with the look ahead. But Dallas has been that good at home. And I don't like the way Seattle's on a downtrend these last 4 weeks, losing 3 of their last 4. And not covering none of the 4. Commanders actually covered them in their only win in Seattle.
Now we can dive on into this NBA slate. Currently no bet on Thursday Night Football. Obviously that can change, and obviously there can always be halftime bets if something else opens up. So if you guys want those could possibly change later, sign up on the app or the website, massaedge.com. And let's dive into this.
Yesterday, we did not have a bet till very late, before post. We went with the Pelicans. We went with the Grizzlies. They brought the Memphis line down to 3.5 once they announced Clarkson was going to play. That made it enough for us to just get a 1-unit bet, just a small bet, a 1-unit bet, but made us get that bet in there. Same with the Pelicans. We took that game, a few minutes, literally, after we sent out the bet on that game. The message comes in, Embiid, he was a late scratch with the illness, and we sent that out for another 2 units. I know a lot of my guys didn't get it. So for our members, our Massa Edge members, you just got to realize how quick. Especially on big Embiid and Jokic. We talked about Jokic all day yesterday. Would have loved to have a bet on Denver, but Jokic's 5 points to the line. I actually told my guys at let's call it 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning. We post a preview. I was in the chat. I says, if Jokic plays, I make the line 10. The game closed 10. The game landed on 10. That's the guys. Look, I don't want to pat myself on the back. Yeah, I'm going to pat myself on the back. I'm that fucking good. but I got to have the information. You know, we had some guys saying, well, Joker's probably going to play. Yeah, he probably was going to play, but I wasn't sure. Can't give that information out. When we see the whites of their eyes, that's when we want to fire. We have information, we go on it. Every day is like that in the NBA, and that's why I tell you guys all the time. Love having you guys watch the podcast, but we shoot this right now. It's 11:41 a.m. Eastern. So much is going to happen in the next 10 hours. I mean, you don't have our late tip-off tonight, Clippers, Golden State. That's a 10-10 game, and when we get down there, we'll talk about it. You've got three of the Clippers, PG, Kawhi, and Harden, all played 37-plus minutes last night. They're back-to-back. Yep. Now, you guys know the story with Kawhi and PG for the last couple of years. Are they sitting tonight? Are they questionable? We don't know. All right, Ben's popping up the Don Bet screen, and the reason we're doing this today is we want to show you how little the line has moved, and that's why we don't have a bet. So let's – I don't know, Ben. Maybe you guys got better eyes than me, but I certainly can't see the numbers. What do you got for us there?
Yeah, hopefully when it comes out on YouTube, it's a bit more crisper for you guys while recording. The box is a little bit smaller, but basically the point is none of these lines have really moved too much. A couple of half-point moves here and there. Lakers went up and down a little bit just based off the possibility of LeBron playing or not. Obviously, in the height of last night's game, it peaked up at 7, but then obviously limited minutes, so it came back down a little bit. Other than that, Bucks go up half.
The big move is this morning was the next. I mean, even on the overnight, that they opened at 12. It wasn't really a 12. It just shot right up, and then you were looking at 13, and then it went up to 14, and that's the pure domination. When we get, we'll talk about the stats shortly. Knicks absolutely own that. Why I didn't want to get on that. The only one I knew was going to move higher. Just a lot of points. Knicks play tomorrow. And that's a tough one. That was a tough one to lay those kind of double digits in. But anyway, we'll go through them game by game. Just want to give you guys an idea. Do you have a bet yet? Do you have a bet yet? We bet when we see an edge, there's a bet. And right now you can see half-point moves. Nobody's seeing an edge in games right now.
And we'll see if any of that changes as info changes. Let's go ahead and run through this card, and you guys will know some of this info we are talking about. First game on the board, Blazers at Cleveland. Blazers going to Indiana. Big-time dogs pull it out. Grant with the big night, and they held that high-scoring Pacers team to 24% from 3. Meanwhile, Cleveland coming off a big 20-point blowout over the Hawks. Mitchell was shooting horrendous in his 2 prior games, 8 for 35. Next thing you know, he comes back with a 40-point game, over 50%. Cavs figured it out there. Cavs have owned this matchup a little bit. They won it 5 straight by an average 11.5 points, and the line's sitting at 11.5. So really hard to say you have an edge on this game. Ever so slightly lean to Portland. They're playing well right now, 3-0 against the spread their last 3. But is there a little bit of a letdown after the win at Indiana?
Yeah. When we talk about solid lines, don't get much more solid than this. 5 wins in a row by an average of 11.4 points per game. For my Massa Edge members, you see my ratings. I've got Portland rated 28.0 on the road. Cleveland rated 39.0 at home. That's an 11-point difference. Cavs have been home during this homestand. Blazers are traveling. I added a half a point for that. It's 11.5, guys. I don't care how you turn it. The game is 11.5. That's what the line should be. That's what the line is.
And we're going to have Pacers going on to Miami. Going to give myself a little pat on the back. We rode that trend for 12 straight overs, called which game would end it, went under in their last game, coming off that loss to Portland there. And you had this Miami team who's coming off a home loss to the Bucks. They've now dropped 3 straight, 1-2 against the spread. Pacers have dropped 3 straight, 1-2 against the spread. And this game revolves around Jimmy Butler. Missed last couple of games. He's questionable. Got to see what's going on with him. Initially, I thought when I was looking at the totals ahead on the schedule here with the Pacers, they would go a couple of unders in a row, Portland, Miami, because again, this is a 2-game set here with the Heat. Just can't buy into that as much without Jimmy Butler. Heat's defense hits a lot when he's obviously not on the floor. Play a bit more up-tempo without him as well. Turn a bit more over. We saw that in their last game there with Milwaukee. So without Jimmy Butler, would be a lean to the over in this game, the way Indiana's been playing basketball, John.
Yeah, again, here's a game. You've got Jimmy Butler questionable. what we have on this game without Butler, this is a pick'em game.
Yeah.
Butler's in, the line should be approximately Heat 3. So they've got it too. They've got it in the middle, and we saw this yesterday with Jokic. When DraftKings opened their line against the Rockets the prior day, they opened at 4. That was on the assumption that Jokic and Gordon and Murray were all out. The next morning, that game was 7. So 4 was with them out. 10 is what the game closed. 7 was the middle that they weren't sure. So that's what the books do when you've got a guy that's legitimately questionable, not LeBron, which LeBron might be legitimately questionable yesterday and today, but usually when they say LeBron's questionable, he's not really questionable. They got it. When guys are, and I'm talking about stars, when they're legitimately questionable, like Jokic, like Butler, they're going to put that line in the middle so they can't get crushed either way. And then when the move comes with Butler, it's only a point one way or the other. So that's just where this game is. It's in the middle. If Butler plays, that line's going back up. If Butler's out, that line's going back down. And that's how simple it is. That's exactly what I make the line in this game. We saw Portland slow down this high-octane pacer offense a little bit. Miami will take the air out of the ball because that's what they do. But as Ben said, if you're looking for the under, you really want to have Butler out there to slow things down a little bit on the paces.
And we have the Pistons at the Knicks, biggest game on the day as far as a spread, and for a good reason. Pistons back-to-back got blown out by the Lakers last night, make that 15 losses in a row. Knicks, they played the Hornets the other night. They had a blowout. Randall, big night, 25 points, 20 rebounds. They clinched up the tournament with that win. This is absolute ownership. 12 straight meetings. Knicks have won. They won the last 5 in New York by an average of 13.8 points. What's the line? Sitting at about 14. So right on the spot there with the trend as far as how much they've been beating them by. I will say, though, this is – of those 12 straight, this is probably the worst Pistons team and the best Knicks team that we've seen in this matchup of this ownership. So, and 14, big number for a good reason. Probably a 20-point blowout. Knicks are nobody in this one.
Only thing that stopped me from betting the Knicks in this one, again, like I said, they play at Toronto tomorrow. And we'll give you a quick hint who we're going to be on tomorrow. Knicks have lost 13 of their last 14 trips to Toronto, covering just 2 of the 14. How much energy are they going to spend on a Piston team that's dropped? Is it 15 straight now?
Yep, 15.
4-11 against the spread, and they've beat them 12 straight, 10-2 against the spread. So it's Knicks or nobody. But with Toronto tomorrow, you figure if they do have that 20-point lead, as Ben's talking about, and I expect them to have it too, you might see Barrett, Randall, Brunson sitting on the bench getting a little rest for the trip to Canada tomorrow. So it's Knicks and nobody. The lower number would have been the number to lay, if any. Big double-digit number for a Knicks team that doesn't score a lot of points. They don't score a lot of points, but they don't give up any points. Number 1 in the league in defense. I'm sure they'll stymie the Pistons today. 2 of their last 3 games, they've held teams under 100. Expect that to happen again.
Yeah, one thing I'll add too, I'm not a big prop guy, but typically in these games when you have blowouts, obviously the bench comes in either playing unders on starters or possibly you get some alt lines on the overs of some of these bench guys who might get minutes down the stretch of this game and lead to a backdoor. So could be a look in that one. Next matchup, we have the Hornets going on to Brooklyn. Charlotte coming off that blowout loss to the Knicks. No LaMelo Ball and big problems. Rozier, 11 points, didn't get it going there really in his place. And Miller's also questionable here. So Charlotte not playing great ball right now. 2-6 straight up against the spread their last 8. And the loss of LaMelo Ball, I don't think they're going to be as bad as they were against the Knicks. Obviously, the Knicks had some incentive for a big win. But I do think it's going to take a couple of games before they get into a groove without him. So until then, this game to me is Brooklyn all the way. You have this Nets team who's playing great at home right now. NBA best, 8-1-1 against the spread. They've won the last 5 meetings against the Hornets. They beat them at Charlotte back in October. All 4 last year at combined 43. This game to me has a double-digit loss pin here for the Hornets. Young team in New York for a couple of days. Star players out. Wouldn't be surprised they've been having a good time. I don't even care about this game, John.
That could quite possibly be. Brooklyn playing nice ball. They'll also get Cam Thomas back. He was leading the team in scoring when he got injured. So he's been out a couple of weeks. Expect him to be worked in slowly. He'll probably be a little limited, as we saw. Jamal Murray was coming back from a long layoff. This is what usually happens. So don't expect Cam Thomas to light it up. Nets, deep team, playing good basketball at home. 3 straight home wins. Love what they're doing. 8.5 points. It's the right line. That's where my line is on this game. So again, it's a coin flip. Will they cover?
We have the Hawks at the Spurs. A couple of teams who aren't covering anywhere. Hawks blown out at Cleveland in their last game. Young, he played horrible. 3 for 14 from the field. They are now 4-7, 2-9 against the spread their last 11 games. So just not covering. We'll say these are 2 of your bottom 5 teams as far as points allowed. Could be worth a look at the over. Atlanta 26th and giving up points. Spurs 29th. San Antonio, they're not playing any better. 12 straight losses themselves. 3-9 against the spread. Big number here for the Hawks who aren't covering games, let alone winning games. So this is a Spurs are nobody for me. The Hawks do get Milwaukee next. Maybe there's a slide to look ahead. They don't really have the benefit of the doubt. They kind of need some big wins here against the Spurs, but nonetheless, they've had some playoff matchups with Milwaukee. I imagine there's a bit of a look there. And no interest here in the Atlanta laying a big road favorite. Wemby did have a nice little night last night. 6 steals, 4 blocks, 11 boards. Kind of fill up stat sheet. He is questionable, John.
Yeah, that was Sunday night, not last night. They've been off for a few days.
Yes.
They've got Wemby listed questionable, but they've been off 3 days. Atlanta's 4th city, 6 days, so a little advantage there. If Wemby's in, man, I hate doing this, but on a 12-game losing streak, but at 8 points, it would be worth taking San Antonio plus those points. San Antonio or nobody with Wemby in. Now, if Wemby's out and they blow this game up out of proportion, if you could ever take 10 on this game with Wemby out, and that's an automatic take. Again, I keep saying it. The kid's going to be a superstar. He's not yet. So if they overprice him in the line, San Antonio could be worth a take there. So we'll see where that line goes, whether he's in or out. But it is, as bad as San Antonio's been playing, Atlanta just not an 8-point favorite on the road right now with the way they're playing. It'd be Spurs or no one.
And we have the Bucks at the Bulls. Bucks coming off a nice win against Miami. Find this stat fascinating. Giannis and Lillard combined for 65. First duo for 3 straight 30-point games each since Baylor and West back in the 60s. And that was
a baby.
Yeah, you go look back at all the duos that have played since then. Shaq, Kobe, MJ, Pippen, LeBron, Wade, Steph, KD. Hell, even Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. I wouldn't be surprised if they had gotten this before. So that's a crazy little stat to break there. They're obviously finding a groove. Bucks now 8-1 their last 9. And the Bulls, the opposite. 1-8 their last 9, 2-7 against the spread. Bucks have owned this matchup 23-4 the last 27 meetings. No interest here in the Bulls. This would be Bucks or nothing.
Yeah, they're a floundering team. They're talking about blowing this team up. Zach LaVine, they comes in. They've had him questionable for about 3 games. Plays the last game, 1 for 9 against the Celtics. They take him out early. They get blitzed there. DeRozan, they're hanging a questionable tag on him. Also, who knows? These guys can get traded before the game tonight. That you could just see Chicago's not a team right now. We've played them in a couple of spots that they should have responded. Historically, they didn't. Blown out at the Celtics. Blow a 30-9 start lead at Brooklyn. And they never recovered from that one either. So here's a team on the outs against a Milwaukee team really starting to put it together with Lillard and Giannis on the court together. Big number on the road. But I want nothing to do with Chicago. And once again, LaVine and DeRozan both questionable.
So we have Jazz at the first place, Minnesota T-Wolves. T-Wolves keep getting it done at home, 8-1 straight up and against the spread. Jazz back-to-back played last night, lost at Memphis. The winner last night was for the Grizzlies for us. Bad shooting night, no marketing. He's going to miss again tonight. And no Anthony Edwards for Minnesota. Another one of these young studs going out with a little bit of an ankle injury. Got to see what's going on with him. Or sorry, not ankle injury. He he fell on that play on the dunk. So
it's the hip.
Yeah, the hip. So hopefully he's okay. We'll see. He's doubtful for tonight. Big number here for Minnesota. Utah's not covering on the road. Minnesota is covering at home left and right. So based on that, it's Minnesota or nobody. They handed them a big, 29-point beatdown earlier this year. Obviously want Edwards in there. I don't like this team without Edwards. He's cleared above the best player on this team. Would be many or nobody, but really nobody. I don't want to back the Jazz, not playing well on the road on back-to-back. Don't want to lay 10 without Edwards.
We had the two best players on each team, Markkanen out. Edwards, I'm not going to call him doubtful, probably out in this one. No. So I don't know if there's a look to the under in this one. Really didn't gauge that one much. But what I do see with this one, just as Ben said, Utah has been atrocious on the road. They played well at home, but on the road, absolutely atrocious. And that's why we went with the Grizzlies against them last night. Just look. Grizzlies were hungry they were looking for their first home win. You couldn't get a better spot than one of the worst teams on the road, the Jazz, playing without their leading scorer, rebounder, and Markkanen. He'll be out again tonight. As Ben said, it'd be Minnesota or nobody. But again, do I want to get out and lay double digits in a game that many will be without their best player, Edwards, in a revenge game? Remember, they went and beat them by 28 the last time at Mini. So it's another game I'm probably staying off of.
Then we're going to have the Lakers at the Thunder. Lakers back-to-back. Nice win at Detroit last night. LeBron got a coast in the fourth. No minutes there. Same with AD. So only 28 minutes on a back-to-back. What's the situation? Is he playing? Is he not? Got to wait to see. He's always questionable. With the tournament games coming up, maybe he rests this game. But obviously a lot of animosity against OKC. They had some hard-fought games with them last year, got the scoring record against them last year. OKC coming off a tight loss against Minnesota. The game Edwards got hurt. They still couldn't pull it out. Holmgren and Williams, bad shooting nights, 8 for 30. This Thunder team now, since the Giddey rumors, all the police investigations, 2 losses. They had one the prior, 6 in a row? So a couple of losses out of the Giddey news. Locker room could be headed for some trouble. I don't want to lay the points with OKC here. This is Lakers or nothing. They won 4 last 5 meetings. Just need to know if LeBron's in. LeBron's in. We'll be on the Lake Show.
You need to know if LeBron's in, and under normal circumstances, because he only played 28 minutes last night and they don't play again until Saturday, you would say, hey, he probably plays tonight. Maybe they play him limited. But this is also 4th and 6 on this trip, final game of the trip. So back-to-back, 4th and 6. They are off 2 days, but then they go into the in-season tournament. You don't want – look, LeBron's the oldest player in the NBA, so you got to take it a little careful with him. I said he was legitimately questionable last night, and if he played last night, I didn't know if he'd play today. Now, only reason I'm thinking he may because he played the limited minutes, but similar to the Jokic situation, I don't know for sure. My number on this game is OKC 5 with LeBron playing his normal allotment of minutes. That will vary. This line right now is 5.5. I think they're assuming LeBron is playing also. If LeBron is out, this game is going to move, and it's going to move fast. I would be on OKC if LeBron is out. I believe Lakers 0-3 in back-to-backs against the spread now. Yep. So tough spot for the Lakers to go to OKC. OKC, as Ben said, look, they lost a couple of games since this Giddey thing, but one was in Minnesota, a place they really don't win. They've had a tough time with Minnesota, and they played them tough. So let's see what's happening on that front. But my number, if LeBron's in, is 5. It's 5.5. Just no edge in this game if LeBron is in.
And then last game on the cards, a good one, Clippers at Golden State. Clippers, first game of a home-and-home here in this matchup. They go back to L.A. for the next one. Coming off a nice win last night against Sacramento. They played pretty solid. Kawhi had a big night, 34 points. Also big minutes, 37 minutes. Paul George, 40 minutes. So minutes adding up. First game of a home-and-home. Does anyone get the night off here for this matchup? And it's a tough little stretch coming up. It's Golden State, Denver. So we'll see how they handle this as far as resting guys. And then you have the Warriors coming off that horrible loss there against the Kings. Blew a 24-point lead. This, to me, is Golden State all the way. They split the last 6 meetings, home team winning each game. And you have Golden State coming off a brutal loss. I know they're having a little bit of regression this year. I know it's not the same Warriors team, but got to be a little bit fired up after that one. And I imagine they're still good enough to get it in this spot. Really bad spot for Clippers, back-to-back, and they see them again at home in the next matchup.
Look, again, we're 10 hours before tip-off, and it's going to boil down to injuries. Not so much injuries, but who's going to get rest. And again, this is what we say, guys. You can go down every game, and you just can't tell. Look at Embiid last night was a scratch a half hour before tip-off, an illness, and he was scratched. So this game's going to come down to that. Just as we're talking right now, by the way, Knicks going to 14.5. So some guys not afraid to lay the wood in that one. As we said, Knicks are nobody, but sometimes it's just nobody. Anyway, back to this Clipper game. Ben gave you the minutes. Kawhi, PG. Do they come in on back-to-back? Look, last night was their best game since the Harden trade. They shot the ball well. They moved the ball well, albeit against a tired Sacramento team who, as Ben said, came back from a 24-point deficit to beat these Warriors. Now, the Warriors are just another situation. This is the end. It's over. You could see it. You could see the decline. We talked about this, why we went with Sacramento a couple of nights ago, and that game, I think, might be one of the nails in the Golden State coffin. Not only losing that game, blowing a 24-point lead, but also losing CP3 and GP2. Both will be out tonight. Looks like Gary Payton is going to be out for a little while longer. You start losing bodies, even though look, Gary Payton's no big deal. Chris Paul isn't what he was, but you start losing guys on a thin bench, not going to hold up well. So I do not like the Warriors in this spot. The spot is nice for them because Clippers are coming off back-to-back. But if everybody plays, I think Clippers might have just put it together. And looking at a number that's 5, it would be Clippers or nobody to me. Doesn't mean I'm on the Clippers yet. Again, we'll wait to see the lineups and where the line moves by closer to game time.
Yeah, big name's going to have some question marks and possibilities of being out tonight. Obviously, Jimmy Butler's a true questionable. LeBron's a true questionable. And then that Clippers game, who knows who sits. So if you guys want that.
You got Wembanyama's questionable. You got Levine, DeRozan. They're legitimately questionable. Levine got taken out of game. Look, these are guys that are going to move the line 2 points. Or you talk about LeBron, more than 2 points. Kawhi and Harden, or Kawhi and PG, or PG and two of those guys are out. It's a whole different game. And this is what we tell you guys. When we really have a strong feeling one way or the other, it's one thing. But when you just really don't know, and I don't know. I don't know what the Clippers are going to do. Does Lou feel, hey, we got to build on what we had going last night. Let's go for it. Or I can't chance putting Kawhi out there after going 39 minutes, 37. One of them played 37, one played 39. So we just got to wait to see. The injuries, so important in this game, guys.
And they are very important. We'll be updating our members throughout the day. If you guys want to get that, make sure you guys sign up on massaedge.com or download the Massa Edge app, and you guys will get that information as we have it. So that's where you guys can get all that. No bets so far
make
today.
This different, guys. You get guys out there that go on my Discord and all this nonsense. You get our app, bang. The major injuries you're getting immediately. As soon as Embiid hit the wire, we got that bet. Well, we first sent out the bet, and we actually didn't even write in what price to lay. We just sent out New Orleans money line, just tried to type it. We tried to get it out to you guys as quick as possible, and then we sent out the Embiid out info. But again, big guys joking. Embiid, LeBron. These guys are 3, 4, 5-point moves. If Doncic is to miss, these guys are monster moves to the line. Got to understand that. Levine, DeRozan, smaller, but still are going to move the line. So, look, we run a sports betting information service. I say this all the time. We're not a tout service. A million touts out there. Not a tout service, sports information, and we give you information right up until tip-off on every game.
Yep, so make sure you guys sign up to get all that. We appreciate those of you guys who tuned into this. If you guys can help us out, like, comment, subscribe below, and make sure you guys sign up so you guys can bet with the Massa Edge.
Let's make some money.